Now, the pineal gland that's in the brain, it's a primary endocrine organ. It's actually part of the posterior region of the diencephalon in an area called the epithalamus. It secretes a neurohormone, melatonin, and that's related to your light and dark cycles. And when it's dark, you secrete more melatonin. The target tissues of melatonin are the sleep regulation centers in the reticular formation of the brainstem. So we know that sometimes people will actually take supplements of melatonin to help them sleep because we make less as we age. The thymus gland is a primary endocrine organ. It's in the mediastinum. It sits on top of the heart. And this is where the T lymphocytes mature. Those are those immune system direct fighter cells. And the thymus secretes hormones, thymosin and thymopoietin. And those are mainly paracrine signals that will stimulate cells that are close by to help with making T lymphocytes and helping them to mature. And it's important to note that the thymus gland and the pineal gland involute or decrease in size as we age. Now, moving to the gonads where our sex hormones are made. You know, the gonads, these are secondary organs. This is the testis in the male, and it makes sperm, and the ovaries in the female, which make the eggs, or the ova. They also produce sex steroid hormones that help with producing the egg and the sperm. The testes make testosterone. Females do make some too in their adrenal glands. And it is regulated, the production of the testosterone and the secretion of it is regulated by a multi-tiered feedback loop. The gonadotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus will cause the anterior pituitary to secrete luteinizing and follicle stimulating hormone, LH and FSH. The luteinizing hormone stimulates the making of testosterone. The follicle stimulating hormone stimulates production of a protein that binds testosterone and concentrates it in the testes. Now, when levels of testosterone are too high, then you're going to have less gonadotropin releasing hormone secreted, which will close this loop. Testosterone is hydrophobic, so it's going to bind to the intracellular receptors. And it has anabolic effects. It stimulates bone growth and increases muscle mass. It also has the androgenic effects, like the development of the male secondary characteristics, like deep voice, Adam's apple, and body hair. Now, in the female ovaries, they make sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. We're a lot more complex than they are. We have to have more hormones. And the males also make a little bit of this estrogen in their adrenal glands. And we have a multi-tiered feedback loop here that involves the hypothalamus and the anterior pituitary as well as the ovaries. The estrogen will stimulate the development of the secondary female sex characteristics, breast development, curvature of the body, the regulation of the menstrual cycle, and things like that. Now, progesterone, the other hormone from the ovaries, it is necessary for ovulation, and you have a peak secretion at ovulation of progesterone, and it's also important during pregnancy because it helps with supporting the fetal development. It affects smooth muscle tissue, body temperature, blood clotting, bone tissue, and metabolism. And after menopause, when you have less of the progesterone and the estrogens, you can have osteoporosis, which is when your bone growth is affected and your bones lose density. Adipose tissue is another secondary organ of the endocrine system because the adipocytes make leptin, and that is able to actually cross the blood-brain barrier, and it interacts with the neurons in the hypothalamus. And so the hypothalamus is its target tissue. Leptin will cause you to feel full or satiated so that you don't overfeed. And a lot of obesity studies are done on leptin. And the amount of leptin produced is very much related to how much adipose tissue you have. The heart is another secondary endocrine organ. It actually secretes atrial natriuretic peptide, ANP. It will cause relaxation of the smooth muscle cells in your blood vessels so that they vasodilate and get bigger in diameter. It will cause natriuresis, which will cause excretion of sodium ions from the kidneys, and that will cause more water excretion from the kidneys. And so both of those, both the natriuresis and the vasodilation, both of those help to decrease your blood volume and lower your blood pressure. The kidneys are also endocrine organs because they secrete erythropoietin, which acts on the red bone marrow to cause us to make more erythrocytes. And the erythrocytes are your red blood cells. So if you got more erythrocytes, you got more capacity for carrying a lot more oxygen. Some of the cells in the kidneys secrete renin, and that helps maintain our blood pressure. And also vitamin D. When you're in the sun, it will cause your kidneys to produce the vitamin D, and along with the parathyroid hormone that helps us with digestion. Now, this table, as are the other tables in this PowerPoint, it's in the heart. It's in the textbook as well.